first thing that you should ask yourself if you're thinking about pursuing this career is, I know it's going to sound crazy, but people skip this all the time. Hi, bosses, and welcome back to the Boss MH channel. My name is Leah, and I am a boss registered medical assistant along with a few other titles. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. I'm so excited to have you. You can go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you are going to want to know all the good stuff when it drops, okay? And if you're returning, welcome back, boss. I got some more information for you today. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about 5 things that I feel like you should ask yourself before you start to pursue a career as a medical assistant. And I feel like some people really just don't think these things through and they kind of get into it. I mean, I kind of did that a little bit, so I'm not judging you. I'm just saying if I can help somebody, why not? So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that you should ask yourself if you're thinking about pursuing this career is, I know it's going to sound crazy, but people skip this all the time. Are you a people person? This always blows my mind. I mean, blows my popsicle stand when I meet people who are not people, who don't like people, who don't like constantly interacting with strangers, making small talking conversation. And they say, oh, I want to be a medical assistant. How? You are going to come in contact with a lot of people whom you do not know, and you're going to have to make small talk. You're going to have to make big talk, really, because you're going to have to talk to them about things that are personal and private and intimate to them. Do you have that skill set or that desire to obtain that skill set to be a people person? Because if not, you probably don't want to be a medical assistant. You probably don't. Probably want to find something else. All right. So number 2 is, what are your long-term or short-term goals? What are your goals? This is important because sometimes I feel like people rush to this career because a lot of for-profit schools, which I'll talk about later, a lot of for-profit schools will push this down your throat. A lot of people say, oh, this is something easy to get into. You can get your certification online. They'll say all these things, right? But if this really and truly does not align with your long-term goal, then you're probably wasting your time. Like I see a lot of girls who's like, well, I wanted to go off to be a registered nurse, or, you know, whatever it is that they desire to be. But this career path does not directly align with that. There are other career paths that align better. Like if you're going to go, if you really want to be a registered nurse and you know with your heart and heart through and through, that's what you want to do, then I would prefer that I would suggest that you invest in an LPN program, because the bridging from LPN to RN is a lot more simple, a lot more easier than trying to do it as a medical assistant and bridge to a registered nurse. So ask yourself, does this align with my long-term goals? If not, don't just run out here and get this point. You guys have no idea how many people I know who have this certification and do not use it, or didn't get the certification. Even better, they went to school, didn't even get the certification, and now they have this debt that they're acquired and for nothing. They're not even working in the field. All right. So number 3 is, will this pay for your lifestyle? I don't care what career you're doing. You should always look up what the median salary, the bottom salary, the top salary, all of these things. Look up jobs in your area when it comes to this position, because if this job is not going to, you know, because some people think, oh, I'm going to have such a significant job. If I get this, I'm going to be making all of this money. And then they graduate and they're like, I'm not making all this money. What's wrong? You need to research pay and find out, does this align with my financial goals or my lifestyle that I want to provide for myself? If it doesn't, then this may not be the career. Maybe you want to invest your time and energy into a different career. So think about it. Does it fit the bill, right? Number 4 is, y'all, this is my favorite. Oh my God, when I was teaching, it was so funny to see this. I would have students come in and they would be squeamish. Like they were super squeamish with bodily fluids, giving injections, taking blood. And I was just thinking to myself, like, what? What? Did you not know what we were going to be doing? Did you do a walkthrough of the campus? Did you get an idea? Look it up. If you plan to be a clinical medical assistant, not administrative, but a clinical medical assistant, you will have to and be responsible for doing a lot of gooey, ooey, itchy, kitchy things. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, you're going to be dealing with culture, so swabs, right? You're going to be dealing with bodily fluids, so urine, feces, blood, like saliva, all of the things. And if you do procedures, you're going to be dealing with tissue and hair and everything else that you can think of. So if you're squeamish, or like you don't like to see human body parts, blood, all of those things, then you probably should reconsider. And I know it goes without saying, but you guys would be so surprised how many people that actually jump into this like, oh, I don't really like doing this. And it's okay, because you can be an administrative medical assistant. And if you haven't seen my video yet on that, go ahead and check that video out. But you can be an administrative medical assistant. But if you're going to be a clinical medical assistant, I hope that you are okay with all the ooey gooey, smelly, slimy things. All right. And number 5 is, how are you going to pay for your education? This is important because this is also something I wish I knew. If you are interested in being a medical assistant, you need to assess your current financial situation and see what best fits your need. I know that a lot of for-profit schools are all about this, right? Medical assistant programs really don't have to be expensive. If you go to your community college, like, they're not that expensive, pretty affordable. And there are certain small programs, depending on where you live, where it can be affordable. But some of these for-profit schools, these larger schools, you really have to be careful before you sign on that dotted line, because they're only about the money and you're only a number to them, which it's not necessarily a bad thing all the time. But if financially you don't need a $30,000 overhead, right, from going to this for-profit school, then maybe there's a more affordable way. So see what the most affordable way is for you and see if that aligns with your current situation before you just jump out here and sign your name on the dotted line. Trust me, I've seen many people be very sad and devastated about the financial trauma that they cause themselves by doing this. Okay, so these are 5 things I think you should talk to yourself about, question yourself about before you decide to become a medical assistant. If you guys know some more things that our future medical assistants may need to think about before they decide diving into this career, go ahead and put them in the comments, because we would love to read and hear about them. So until next time, boss.